Hi, my name is Scott Marker, and this is another episode of Treasure Valley NIA Quick Tips. What this is I'm the franchise owner of a network and action franchise, and I build out three professional referral groups here in the Valley. And through that, I meet just some very high caliber business professionals. And I built this to kind of share it with the rest of the people here in the Treasure Valley on what type of, superstars are out there sometimes that we don't even know of. So today is a perfect example. Pete, introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Thanks for having me back. My name's Pete Cardin. I'm the owner of Idaho Business Lending. Wanted to come back on here and just reintroduce myself and tell you about some new services that I've added. So, as some of you may know, I broker business loans, so I find money for businesses. I have expanded my services. I am now offering merchant services and brokering commercial insurance. So we are now able to find you money, save money, and protect money.
Love that.
So
I love that tagline. Say that again. Say that again, because I love that tagline.
Find money,
what can you do your clients?
Money, protect money.
Cool. Love it. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, like I said, I've known you, your client, consider you a friend. And when I heard you had the new services, I said, let's bring them back on so we can get some people out there, because you can only get in front of so many people. So I wanted to let them share that. So now, we'll back up a little bit for the people that maybe haven't seen you before or know what it is. So what is a banker broker? What versus just a banker? What's different between you and you going to a traditional which you were for years?
Yeah, I spent about 11 years in banking, and it was great. And I stepped out of that to help my clients a little bit better. So what I'm able to do, instead of finding the best option for my client with the tools that I have within my bank, I'm able to find the best tool for my clients within all aspects of financing. So, I am able to do things like regular loans, commercial loans, lines of credit, factoring, all kinds of different things that may not be available to a bank. Different banks have different terms, different policies, different procedures, different appetites. And so I'm able to weed through all of that to find my clients the funds that they need to operate, expand, grow, whatever they're trying to do.
Yeah, I love that. And I compare it to insurance, kind of being captive or non-captive. And if you're non-captive, well, if you're one of the brand names, nothing against them, but if they have a major incident, hurricane or something that raises all the rates for that company because they're heavily concentrated in that area, you're kind of stuck. Versus if you're non-captive, you just shop around. And I love that because that's what you can do, right? I mean, so if they're at a bank and that bank just goes, right now you're just not a good fit. And so what can you do different than that?
Yeah, I have about 70 lenders or so that I work with. So there's almost always a fit for people to find the right kind of loans. Right. I'll give you a quick example. I'm working on a project right now, and it's very narrow scope that we can work in because of a number of factors. And I was able to reach out to probably 10, 15 different lenders to find the right one for the client, because it was the only way I was going to get the deal done, because of a lot of factors in this particular deal at the moment. And so, yeah, you walk into a bank, they're not going to be able to help you. They're not going to be able to provide you that particular kind of service.
Right. No, I love that because, and again, when you say 70, the first thing I think about is that's kind of intimidating, right? But the thing is, that's why they work with you. Because you work, all these lenders so good at options that it's like, hey, I can narrow it down right out of the gate to about 15, and from there I'll narrow it down so I can find the best one for you.
Exactly.
I love that. So now let's segue into the type customers that now with your new services, right now, who can type of customers, what's a, I know it might be varied, but what's some good customers for you? What do they look like?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, my specialty is working with contractors and startups,
Okay.
manufacturers. Those three are really the areas that I do well with, just because of my experience in those markets. I would say I've made a career off of working with contractors. So there's rarely a situation that comes up that I have not seen before. I know their needs and I'm able to help them well. Startups, I really enjoy working with startups. It's always exciting. Somebody's got a dream, somebody's got aspirations, and they're trying to get where they're trying to go. And I really enjoy working with those kind of clients. With the expanded offerings I have now in the merchant services and the commercial insurance, I really am turning myself into a one-stop shop for a brand new business. Maybe you need some capital. You're also going to need a way to have customers pay you. You're going to need to have your insurance. You're going to need all those things. And then with the network of people I have around me, I have a good fit for virtually any of their business needs. And then manufacturers, they're another industry I really enjoy working with. They, in some ways, operate a lot like contractors. I think that's why I like working with them, is just the familiarity. There's a lot of high cost of goods and production and all that sort of stuff. I mean, contractors, they're building something. Manufacturers, in a sense, are building something, right?
Right.
So a lot of crossover there.
Cool. That's great. Yeah. So when you say contractors, just kind of help maybe some of the listeners, aren't familiar with, so what's a contractor, but give me some examples of contractors here in the Valley.
Yeah, it could be anything from a general contractor, plumber, framer, roofer,
Okay.
Concrete. Think anything that kind of goes into a building, making a building. Those are the clients that I specialize in.
No, that's great. So now some of your previous customers, you can actually circle back and chat with them and say, hey, now I have some more offerings for you, and I can help you with those type of things. Again on the because the three were contractors, startups, and manufacturing. Those are kind of your sweet spots, which you just enjoy, which is great. You enjoy doing it. Yeah. Now let's touch on the real quick on the manufacturing again. A lot of people don't know. In a former life, I got aware of how many manufacturers we have in Idaho. A lot, especially the weapons industry. There's a bunch of them. And so what type of, when you say, give us a couple examples of maybe some customers you've helped out, or you're right in the middle of helping out right now in some manufacturing.
Yeah. Well, and right now I am doing a second round of financing for a nutritional supplements company that is, they're not local to Idaho. They're based out of Colorado and California, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
And second round, they're looking at buying some equipment and refinancing some equipment. We had previously gotten capital for some capital needs that they had before. But yeah, I mean, when you're looking at manufacturing, there's always new pieces of equipment they need done. There's lines of credit are important, because those costs of goods are not cheap. And same with contractors, right? Cost of goods are expensive, and that's got to come from somewhere. So those sorts of products are really good fits for manufacturers, because they're a constant need with pretty much anybody that makes anything.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I love that. And that helps a lot, because like I said, even clears up for me, because again, that's why I bring you on, because learn from you guys. But like the manufacturing, like I said, here in Idaho, there's just, a lot of, there's some big ones out there, but there's a lot. When you talk about the kind of the similarities, there are a lot of times they're like startups, because there's a lot of manufacturers that are startups.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess every business was a startup at one point, right?
Yeah.
And given the market here in Idaho, I think everybody's out there trying to get something done. That includes manufacturers. So there's a lot of people out trying something new or trying to improve on something that's already existing.
Wow. Hey, well, give us now we know the types of so give us an example of, and I know one story you had which I really like, and I think the listeners would like to hear, is where sometimes people will have loans everywhere, right? A business owner will have 4 different loans, and they're all at different interest rates, doesn't know what's going on. So how do you help somebody like that when they come to you? And sometimes they probably don't even quite understand they
Absolutely.
have so many different loans. They're just trying to
Yeah,
get
absolutely.
work.
It's very common to come across have a lot of financing out there. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. It's good or all of it's bad. But when you have a number of payments that can be difficult to manage. The other thing too is as you get on in a loan, your payments and the payment that you have, say you have a 10-year loan, your payment and versus the balance of the payment, those numbers get out of whack over time. You get 5 years down the road, well, all of a sudden you have a huge payment and not that much of a balance. And so one thing that I enjoy doing is taking those balances that you have out there, seeing the payment, seeing where maybe paying 2, 3, all of them off into one consolidated loan that can save thousands of dollars a month. Every situation is different, but there's usually a lot of good opportunity to save some money because those loans, especially the ones that are getting older, or maybe there's a circumstance change, maybe there was a loan that was gotten in a time that wasn't great in your economic cycle or what have you, and the rate might have been high, the terms might not have been good, short term, different things of that nature. And we're able to clean that up for you and just really improve your cash flow.
Yeah, because they got the loan a couple of years ago and they weren't maybe as in good as position as they are now, as being looked at for being able to get a loan at a decent rate. So you can kind of consolidate some of maybe they have 2 good loans and one really bad one. You can consolidate them.
Sure. Well, and something else I saw just recently with the client is they had 2 loans. I think it was 2 loans that were at 0%, which is great, but they were super short term and that debt payment was crushing them.
Oh,
If you have a $100,000 loan and you have a 3-year payback on it, well, that's awesome at 0%, but it can be extremely, extremely expensive.
right.
And so sometimes it's an adjustment in the interest rate, not necessarily to your favor, but at the end of the day, if you don't have cash flow, you're not going to be able to operate. So most of what I try to do on my side is operate from a cash flow perspective, which can mean a lot of different things. But every now and then you're looking at a deal and you're saying, hey, let's find something that's going to be more expensive, but let's stretch this out and it's still going to feed you a ton of money.
Yeah, because like I said, you might have a slowdown right now, and you're pumping away, and now all of a sudden you're still making money, but just not like the cash flows. It's been substantially back. It might be nice to kind of, I don't know, however you would call it, but put together the loans differently and stretch them out a little bit further, so that way the payments aren't so much right now.
Right.
So yeah, that's great. I know, and I know you've had a couple examples of where you've done that for some people, and I mean, like, really giving them a lot of breathing room.
Yeah.
Like
I saved one client $70,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. So, hey, we're coming close to the end here. I just want to know, is there anything, I mean, can you think of anything else that you want to share with the listeners at all?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Kind of on a different note altogether, but something I've been seeing a lot of lately. When you're seeking financing, talk to a professional. The internet has lots of great tools, lots of great stuff out there. It can be a dangerous place to go looking for money if that's not what you do on a daily basis.
Right.
Regularly, I'm coming across people that have taken just not good loans without talking to anybody first,
Wow.
and put them in really bad positions. I'm helping a client out right now that is in actually I have more than one client right now that are in upwards of 30% rates,
Wow.
because they didn't talk to anybody. And it's not that they can't get other financing, but it makes it so maybe they can't, because it's awfully hard to get out of that.
Wow. Wow. Yep. So just like they say, like we talk about in the groups about the attorneys and stuff, if you're going to do something major in your company, you might want to run it past your accountant and your attorney first. And then if you're going to do something major with the money, talk to your money person.
Yeah. Hey, quite frankly, it doesn't even have to be me. Talk to a professional of any
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
Any
That,
kind.
yeah. No, I know. I get it. Like, yeah. You're absolutely right. Cause I hear all these horror stories about people that just do, unwise things. And then like, especially online, you don't, like you said, 30%, that's crazy. That's like
Yeah.
hard money lending or something. I mean, like a payday loan, it almost sounds like.
I look at it and I say, hey, I'm not going to build a house. So maybe let's leave the financing to professionals.
Right.
Like, we all have our specialties, and that's great.
Right.
So I won't frame a house. How about you talk to me about financing first?
Yeah. Perfect. Well, yeah, awesome. This has been great, Pete. I'm excited to get the update back now that you're doing the not only the money guy, go to you if you have any questions on money, you're a money broker, but now you do the merchant services and then also the commercial insurance.
All things money.
Awesome. Love it. Hey, what's the best way? I'll put it in the show notes too, but what's the best way to someone if they wanted to reach out and talk to you?
Yeah. Calls, texts, emails are great. Idaho Business Lending at gmail.com or 208-470-6673.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, perfect. Well, I appreciate that. And thanks for coming on the show again. And all the listeners out there, thank you for listening and have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks, Scott.